really fucked people sometimes. I mean, I've seen some shit. And even like, yeah, I've just seen some shit. Especially with people I care about. But for the most part, like, especially when I went into cooking more and outside of gaming content, people are very healthy and normal, and every human deserves love. I have tried Olipop. I think it's good. I usually don't drink Coke. I usually don't. I like Sprite. But Olipop, I'm so scared that those alternatives, there's like, you know, the fake sugar they use. I wonder if that's gonna be unhealthy long term. I'm just waiting to see if there's like long term data on it. Because for example, you know how like oat milk was really popular, and now there's a lot of things coming out about oat milk not being good for you. I've actually never had a pumpkin roll. Yeah, hold on, let me Google it for you. I think it's still a good option, but it's not the most nutritious because it's really high in starch and sugar, and the fiber can feed a lot of like harmful gut bacteria, which can cause like bloating, gas. And then the additives, there's a lot of like thickeners, the oils, and this can cause inflammation, and it can also disrupt your metabolism. But everyone's different. Like, I actually went back to regular milk, and it's still hard for me to have regular milk with coffee or matcha, so I still get oat milk for it. But when it comes to everything else, like cereal, I use whole milk. I won't use oat milk. But I always realized oat milk had a lot of like fat or like thickening additives. That's what kind of like worried me. But also, yeah, almond milk is best. I think almond milk is really good. But the thing is, like, a lot of things in America are bad for you, so you kind of just have to like do your own research. Oh yes, I'm full. I'm sorry. I'm full. Wait, it's because I made too many noodles. I'm full. I don't eat. I can't eat much in one sitting. I eat like very frequently. Yeah, there's good alternatives. They're just really expensive. So America in general, like a lot of our stuff has a lot of preservative, and like even our produce, our meats and everything, like the quality. I'm actually like, I'm not okay. Oh god, I can't English right now. Like, I don't like shitting on things unless I like really have to, but I'm telling you, like, American like snacks, produce, everything is filled with a lot of preservatives. So there's a lot of like studies or examples of like people in Asia coming here, or people from other countries coming here, and like their metabolism changes because of how different the diet is here, and like how much like you're not consuming as much nutrition, you're consuming a lot more preservative. Oh yeah, Costco does have good stuff. I've always been like this. Like, I've always eaten more frequently in smaller portions. And I think it does, like, typically that's actually, I heard, better for your metabolism. But I don't think that's why I have fast metabolism. The thing is, like, I definitely eat much more frequently. Like, every single one of my roommates, my friends, I realize, like, I'll get hungrier faster. I'm always snacking. Like, I'm just a huge snacker. And it's really, like, I hung out with someone who's, like, eat to live, and I live to eat. And it's so strange. Like every 2 hours I need to munch on something, and they don't. Like they can go like literally 8 to 9 hours without eating. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, when I was in Europe, a lot of the food was so fresh, and my digestive system like loved it. Like I had really healthy bowel movements, and like everything there was a lot more fresh and I think local. So it's harder here. Like even Trader Joe's, America just has a lot of marketing tactics. Like Trader Joe's is 100% marketing. Like they have some things that are custom to them, but their produce and everything comes from the same market, same like place that all the other markets get it from. Yeah, so a lot of people don't know that. I think like, and Trader Joe's specifically did their branding in a way with like handwritten price tags, like a very homey feel. They really wanted to give that vibe of like your local supermarket, but actually they source a lot from the same place that all the other supermarkets source. So yeah, it's a lot of things like that. I think Sprouts and Whole Foods are the same. Let me check. Sprouts supplier. Oh wow, they're not the same as Whole Foods, they're separate. I actually don't know about Sprouts. Oh, based on my experience, Whole Foods has pretty good produce. I really don't like Trader Joe produce, but I like Trader Joe's for like their dried snacks. I was just reading up on some stuff. I haven't tasted American chocolate, but my friends tell me it tastes acidic. Yeah, I think I know what they mean. The puke-like. It just tastes very artificial, but yeah. I think my favorite Trader Joe item, I really like the cheese puffs. It's like the cheese, it's like, guys, my brain's not working anymore. Oh, distributor, that's the word I was looking for. Sprouts distributor. Sprouts is I'm not sure actually. I always stream once a week. I stream on Sundays. I feel like I'm like the only streamer that streams once a week, but it works for me. Like, I remember when I first started, I was like, or when I first started transitioning content, I was like, okay guys, I'll stream 3 times a week. I'll stream 2 times a week, and then I couldn't even do 2. So now I'm doing 1, and I still miss it sometimes, but I feel like it took a long ass break. Yeah, I mean, you know, I was building other stuff, but I feel like I've never really full-time streamed. Like I think the highest amount of hours I've ever done is like 60 a month. So yeah, my average is definitely like 20 hours a month or something. So I'm like really shocked that you guys watch me. And honestly, I feel like I should be proof that like you don't have to be consistent. You don't have to be. No, it's not gonna get to 0. No. I think there might be phases where I'm like really busy, but I really want, like, my mental's very good when I keep doing my Sunday streams. My mental's very, very good. So, yeah. I run a clothing brand. So, like, 2 to 3 days of the week, I'll work on my clothing brand. And then the other 2 days, I'll try to do, like, content on other platforms. And then once a week, I'll try to stream. Yeah. FOMO effect. I haven't had that before. Best fast fashion brands. Oh wow, I've never heard that question before. I don't know if Urban Outfitters counts as fast fashion. I think it's not quite as like damaging as other fast, like, you know, Zara is like fast fucking fashion. Urban Outfitters, like, I can still keep track of like their new releases. Like, when you can't keep track of like a brand's new releases, that's fast fashion, like Forever 21, Zara, stuff like that. But I really like Urban Outfitters. The reason, like, I think Zara is good internationally. Like, when I went to Zara in the Philippines and I went like in Japan, I really like their stuff. I really don't like Zara in America. I try not to buy fast fashion too much, but it's very difficult because you essentially don't really know where things are coming from. Like, you could go to like a local clothing shop and a lot of it is actually just sourced from China or wholesale source of. I think I have a very good eye that I can tell if something's just like sourced from China. But that's why there's a lot of flack for people for like Shein and stuff. But you have to be careful because Amazon has the Amazon label, so it comes off as if it's like not drop shipped from China, but like a ton of stuff on Amazon is doing like pretty much the exact same thing as Shein. But again, it's hard to tell for a lot of people. I just have because I'm in the clothing market industry, like I can kind of tell when. I've been technically doing this for a long time. Like when I was like 14, I did like a drop shipping business when I was 14. Before drop shipping was like cool. Like 10 years later, it became like a huge thing on Amazon. But that's why I can tell when products are like not original. Like even Etsy has a lot of drop shipping products. A good way to tell is to reverse image search it. If you reverse image search it and you find it on other websites, it's 100% drop shipped. But if you reverse image search it and you can't find anything, then it's probably original or belongs to that brand. I think the most I've streamed is 60 to 70 hours for a month. And that was, I feel like I remember reaching 80 hours one month and I was really proud. But for the most part, I think I hit like 73 hours. Oh my gosh, yeah. In 2016, wait, what's my average hours per month, Keone? Are you able to see that? I'm not gonna lie, like, that's kind of a flex. Like, I know people shit on me for having low stream hours, but isn't it kind of a flex? Yeah. Do you think dropshipping market is oversaturated? Yeah, I do. The reason why I don't encourage people to dropship, even though it seems like it would be very easy money, I mean, it might be a good practice for you to kind of learn the power of e-commerce and kind of like play around in that market, but at the same time it really depends on like who you are as a person or what your long-term goals are. For me, like, there were a lot of business ideas I had that would have made a lot of revenue or money, but I think because I did dropshipping at 14, I learned at a really young age that if there's no passion in something for me, it's not worth it. And it's actually more of a waste of time for me. because I could be building something that I'm passionate about that hopefully might be able to like generate good money as well. Maybe not, obviously it all comes with sacrifice. The more you sacrifice like passion and integrity a bit, you can definitely make more money. So it really depends. My kitchen's still a mess. I have to clean it. I'm so delirious right now. Did I take any extracurricular in high school? I was like definitely a kid that like I did really well in school when I was a kid, and then I got into like honors classes since like 3rd grade. I got into like all the gifted classes, and then high school I just I couldn't keep up. I think maybe because I had ADHD. High school I just like completely isolated myself. I had like 4 side hustles. I would cut class. So yeah, I remember thinking like I was fucked. Like I just I couldn't get good with the system. Like it was hard for me to get good grades in high school, and I just couldn't like go to school. I had a hard time focusing. My parents were so upset at me because like I think they were really disappointed because I showed so much promise, and like to my parents, or like immigrant parents, were like, oh, you have to do well in school and stuff, and I'm fucking like streaming and like fucking drop shipping. Like I stole my mom's ID to like buy wholesale products and resell it. I remember I would like go to Manhattan and the Bronx to like sell things. I would just like sell everything I could. I was so addicted to just like making money because I knew I needed it, and I wanted my own stuff too, and like I knew my parents were struggling. So I was just so addicted to making money, but then I think that taught me like a lot at a young age. I was like, oh, like making money, like I just felt so empty. So I think I learned what passion was at a really young age. Yeah. But I think about it sometimes now, I'm like, damn, if I went back to school now, I'd kill it. Because like my demons were out for me. That's why I couldn't go to school. Like I was just like, I didn't believe in myself, and like I didn't know what my purpose was. Yeah. I was really like businesswoman-y. I've always been very like emotional and passionate and creative, but also like a bit business minded. Probably because I grew up in New York. In college I studied computer science, and that was like a lot better for me, but it was rough for me to finish high school. Like rough. I thought I was gonna that's how bad it was. But then like after high school, my life, like a good thing about hitting bottom in high school is that the rest of life is easier. Yeah, I did comp sci. Yeah, I did. I honestly wouldn't even finish my degree, because like now I'd rather just like, if I want to get something coded, I'd rather just like pay someone, because there's definitely people out there who are much better than me at coding. It just takes so much problem solving and so much patience, and you need like a specific type of like resilient grit for coding, and I'm just like, oh. It's just not where my strengths lie, even though like I probably could have finished, and I probably could have gotten a job there. Yeah. Yeah, when I did CS, I think I had like, I think the growth rate was like 2%. So I'm really glad to hear how much like more girls are in. There's just more girls in STEM in general. My logic was like, I mean, I would have loved to choose like psychology or something, but I was like crunching the numbers, and I was like, okay, even after like financial aid, like I could probably pay for like, and everything I saved up, I was like, I could probably pay for a year of school, and then after that I'd have to, or 2 years maybe if I got lucky, and then like I'd have to pay for loans. And so I was like, I can't really choose a major that won't give me like a guaranteed good salary once I'm done. So I was like, I have to just choose a STEM major. That's kind of like the logic I had. I was like, if I'm gonna pay for school, like that was my logic. So that's why I did CS. But it was kind of miserable. Like if I had like the choice, like if my school was covered, and like then maybe I would have chosen. Well, actually, if school was covered, I would have chosen culinary or fashion for sure. But you guys have to remember, like I did CS like a while ago before it got a little oversaturated. So I actually think I would have graduated 20. Oh god, my brain. I don't know. CS did get miserable. Like I was dying. It's too much math. And like it's too much like fucking like CS. It was like exams were like 90%, homework 5%, participation 5%. Like it was to the point where I was like, dude, fuck it, like, I'm not even gonna do my homework. Like, and then like I would look at my friends who are in like psychology, and they have like their like participation's like 30 fucking %. I'm like, you fucking lucky ass bitch. And then like I feel like CS, I don't think I ever had a grade above like 70 like in my test exams, but it was like if I got a 70 and like the class average was a 65, like I was like, holy fuck, I'm a fucking god. But yeah, CS was very like, it was fun in a way because it felt like everyone was suffering together, versus like I think like other majors like med or law is very competitive. But in CS, it's like, you just hope everyone does as bad as you, I guess. Well, I guess that's also law and med, but in CS, like, you can all do well. And also I noticed people in comp sci had very like very similar interests. So that's also why I chose comp sci, because I was really into gaming at that time. And like this was before I thought I would do content, so I was like, hey, if I do CS, maybe I can work at like a gaming company. Like I remember thinking like maybe I can work at Riot or like Blizzard or something, which is like fucking crazy that I even thought about that. Like, no offense, but I would never do that now. Yeah, it's just funny how like it worked out for me, because I remember in high school I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with my life? Like literally, Jamie, what the fuck? Like I had so much pressure. I was like, holy shit, I'm like the oldest daughter, like my parents need me, I need to make money for like my parents and my brother, they need me to like I had nothing. I was like, holy fuck, what should I do? And then when I started getting bad grades in high school, like it was such a bad like confidence for me. That's why I think it's good that like some people like school is not the best. I learned so much. Like even now, a lot of my skills were self-taught. I feel like the only thing I learned from school was like how much I wasn't meant for it. I felt forced into CS for the same reasons. Yeah, I think it's because like CS was like a really good like, I feel like anyone who is kind of remotely creative or wanted like some sort of freedom but they still wanted a STEM major went into CS. Because if you lock yourself into med, you're fucked. If you lock yourself into law, like you're fucked. Like it's so competitive and requires so much commitment. So I feel like CS was like the, oh, maybe you can have like a nice cushy tech job. That was like basically what I felt. Oh yeah, engineering is really creative. But yeah, I feel like because like the beginning courses for like the first year of CS, if you want to change your mind, I think it's easier to change your mind too. So I remember thinking like I have more flexibility with CS. Styles, thanks for the Prime sub. Thank you. What's wrong, Bunny? Yeah, I think honestly my biggest regret, or like something I would have done more if I could go back. The thing is, if I could go back, I wouldn't tell myself anything different because I'm just very grateful for my life right now. Almost so grateful with that. Even though there's areas I know I could have like had better or done better, I don't want to fuck with it. Like I'm scared. Like if I were to go back and change something, what if I would be dead? Like you never know, right? So I don't want to fuck with shit like that. I mean, not that I have the power to, but if I had to change something or do something different, I would have let myself learn so many other different things. Like think about all the skills there are in life, and you might be a fucking prodigy at something and you have no idea. So like if I ever have a kid, I want to be able to like let them do whatever they want. Like I just want their inner child to be able to like learn whatever they want, because I don't know if this is true for everyone, but for me, all the skills I like taught myself from like 10 to 20 really played a huge role in my 20s, especially for me because I kind of went sandbox mode with content creation and like building a clothing brand and everything. Like a lot of those skills like really showed up in my 20s for my career, and so I was regretful that I spent a lot of my teen years just like in mental turmoil. I was like, fuck, I should have learned like XYZ, especially because your brain is so good at learning when you're young, especially things that you like. When you're like young and you have like that childlike energy and you like something, like learning it is so easy. That's why there's so many like child prodigies when it comes to things that they like. And yeah, I got to build a lot of street smarts. I think it's just hard to like artificially have your child learn street smarts, because street smart like literally usually indicates that like you probably had a rougher or like at least like some sort of struggles in your childhood. I don't know. I know people who like had a good childhood and they're still street smart as well. So I think it's like nature and nurture and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, taking classes seriously, like honestly, like because people don't remember anything in their classes, and like getting good grades is just like, there's a lot of smart people who did poorly in school, and there's a lot of like people who did really well in school and struggle in like the real world. So I just think the education system, like I think it's still necessary. Like I think it teaches, the one thing about like college and university that I recommend is like it helps you build such a good network, and network ends up being everything in your career for a lot of, like you just never know, right? It might bring you the opportunity you need to just jumpstart your career. So networking is really good, and it also builds social skills for you. It's still pretty much something that's like integrated into society, but there are people who are able to kind of like me, like work around that, I guess. However, I don't think it's like the best for actual learning. So if I had like a kid and they were like, you know, doing their little secret hobby instead of their homework, I wouldn't be mad. Like I remember I wouldn't do my homework and I would stay up until like 6 a.m. like editing like Maple Story music videos, and my dad was so mad. He would come into my room at 6 a.m. He would wake up for work at 6 and he'd be so fucking pissed at me. He was like, you're playing games right now? Like I'm like editing Maple Story videos. and then now like editing is such a big part of my career. Like I get praised for my editing all the time. And like that's literally because I stayed up until 5 a.m. editing Maple Story videos. But it's not like I like talk about fucking 5th grade or like 8th grade history, you know? And even like I feel like if you like run a guild or something in gaming, low-key, is that not project management? Like I feel like if you run a fucking guild, like that's a project management. That's like an actual skill. That's what I learned from like building a company. I was like, holy shit, like little parts that I taught myself growing up, like all my street smarts are like really popping off right now, versus like if you follow everything by the manual or the guidebook or like what your parents want you to do, you'll realize that there's so many areas where you won't be able to like think outside the box for yourself. But everyone's different. Like some people just like certainty, you know. Lead guild manager, yeah. But mom, I'm the guild leader. My parents love my career now. Like, I think my parents were like, how did Jamie pull it off? Because like literally when I wanted to drop out of school, I shit you not, like, I'm not stupid. I wasn't gonna tell my dad, like, Dad, I'm really passionate about streaming. I wasn't gonna do that. The first thing I showed him was like the money I was making. I was like, especially like back then when I first, by the way, like, we'll talk because we're cool like that. The amount of money, like, especially a girl can make, there's like a sweet spot. Like I remember there's like a parasocial sweet spot. Like maybe around like 300 to 600 viewers. This is a parasocial sweet spot where like I feel like a lot of street girl, it might be different now, but I feel like back then like girl streamers would make a lot of money in that realm. And then like once I started getting to like 1,000+ viewership, I think people think that you reach success, so they don't give you like subscribers as much anymore. But I'm really glad that happened because it honestly kills me to like have my income be reliant on something like that. And now I can just like stream to enjoy it, right? That's why I don't really like push for subs too much or like donations, because I really like, I've already decided my purpose with streaming, like once a week. It's like for my community building. It's so good for my community building. And I've like dabbled into like short form content and like other things, but like the community I built on Twitch has been so strong. Like that's the purpose for me. So like I don't know if you guys, like, people always joke like Jamie's streaming because rent's due, but I shit you not, like if I stopped getting subs and like it was just 0, I would still do it because I think it's just very good. It's still good for my brand too, so I would still do it. But I remember back then, like I was like Dad, like look at this, it's money, please let me drop out of school. He's like, my dad literally was like, what is this shit? Like he like, to be fair, my dad curses a lot. Like he just like, that's why I curse a lot. It was a very casual, he was just like, what is this shit? Like what is this? And I was like, oh. And then that's the conversation. And then what happened was I was like, the thing is like my parents were strict, but I also was very aware as a child that I was like, well, you guys need me to succeed, and I know that you guys don't know what I need to succeed, so I'm gonna take matters into my own hands. And that included lying to them when I had to. So I decided to like, I didn't really ask for their permission to drop out because I was like, I just had to have that confidence. I was like, I know for a fucking fact that like, even if I graduate comp sci, I know I'm not gonna be happy like grinding and making money. So I was like, and like I had this opportunity in front of me. I knew I was gonna regret it. So I was like, okay, well fuck this. Like I just took a leap of faith. I dropped out. My parents were mad, but I was like, just give me like half a semester. Like I guess it ended up working out. I had to have like a level of audacity basically, but honestly I think it's because like growing up I wasn't reliant on my parents. Like any question I had, I would Google it. I wouldn't ask my parents because my parents didn't know. So because of that, a lot of my confidence came from myself. It did come from them to a certain extent. Like my parents were very like praising of me, but like when it came to like anything like documents or anything like real, like I had to research everything myself. So then I was very confident that like I would know what was best for me. But yeah, this is my vitamin water. Hey, is that a meme? I sometimes wonder like what my life would have been if I like just went the normal route. I think my gut tells me I would have been depressed because like I had no friends either. So I don't think, yeah, I think it would have definitely been worse for someone like me because I had a lot of like trauma and like I think like the path I chose, it kind of gave me a bit more. I'm not gonna lie, I think there's another universe where I would have been more rich. Like, hands down, I think so. Because, like, the way my brain optimized things, I think there's definitely a universe where, like, I'm way more rich. And this is the universe where I kind of, like, try to balance everything and, like, follow my heart. So, yeah, but I still would choose this one, of course. But I wonder what I would have done. I don't know. I'm just really grateful. Like, I'm grateful. My goals now. I think my biggest like goal, like a goal is to get my parents a house. But I mentioned this earlier, I don't really have strict goals for myself anymore. It's more so because I realize like the opportunity that falls into your lap always looks different than what I would expect. So now I think like, what kind of person do I want to be in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years? How do I want to feel? Like, what do I want to wake up feeling? Who do I want to like take care of? Or like, I think about things like that. Or what skills do I want to build? Like, I look at my skills and I'm like, where do I want these skills to be in like a few years? So in that mindset, hopefully if opportunities come to me, I'll be prepared to take them and like make the best out of them. Instead of like, I feel like when I had very specific like goals, it kind of limited my view a lot, and I would miss a lot of other opportunities that were in front of me because I was so fixated on like one goal. So I try to be as like open-minded as possible. Yeah. And that includes fun stuff too. Like, I think this year I was like told myself like I need to fucking have fun because like I'm in my 20s and like I'm not gonna have this all the time. And I was like, I need to fucking like really just live for myself. Like truly. Like there's been years before this where I'm like, I'm gonna live for myself, and like I'm actually not operating under that frequency. But this year I really, really, really feel like I finally like reached a point of like security within me, myself, my internal self, that I was able to like do things without caring about like what other people thought. So this year has been like really liberating. This year is like one of my favorite years of my life, which is like crazy. Hi Gina. Why do you need to get your parents a house? I really want to give them like the best life possible, and like I know exactly what would make them happy. And it's already something I told myself like really long time. When I was like 10 years old, I already told myself like this is a lifelong purpose for me. So that question's very interesting because I haven't really doubted that purpose my whole life. I think when I was scared that I wouldn't be able to do it, I did tell myself like my parents are like they're living their own life, and like I don't think I actually ever reasoned it. I was just like, I just have to keep going. Like it's not an option for me. Like I just want to see my parents happy, and like that's just that's like my biggest thing on my bucket list in my whole entire life. It's like my non-negotiable is to like give my parents a good life for the rest of their like remaining years. And I think once I do that, it's not really like a goal for happiness for me. It's like a goal of like, it's like a duty, I feel. But yeah, I don't know, it's weird. But I don't know, it's like, it makes me uncomfortable to like think about not doing that. Even if I didn't, yeah. I have an older sister, firstborn daughter. Yeah. But I remember I was like, if I couldn't make it happen, I know my parents like would be happy regardless. Like they're like so proud of like their children, I guess. Oh yeah, I asked my parents to do it. My dad texted me like my mom's like, Dad wants a backyard. I'm like, yo, California's expensive. I'm like, okay, do you guys want X, Y, or Z? My mom's like, how about all of it? I'm like, okay. But I know my parents deep down, like, they just want to be near me. I know if I got them like the shittiest house, they'd still be happy. But like, I'm just like, yeah, trust me. My dad is also the type like he won't do anything he doesn't want to do, and it took him a long time. I think because like my parents weren't sure what the fuck I was doing. Like guys, from my parents' perspective, I was a gifted child, reached high school, was like extremely depressed and like not going to school, failing life, and then suddenly I like went into comp sci, dropped out to stream, moved to California, and like I think it took them a while to realize what the fuck was happening. Because like, yeah, so from their perspective, I think they were very like, what the fuck is going on? But it's because like, yeah, they were freaking out. I was just like, they just have to trust the process. I was like, actually at some point I was like, if I was a firstborn son, the expectation or how I have to do things would be so different. Like when you're a firstborn son, especially in Asian culture, or I feel like even in like immigrant culture, you're allowed to like not call home because you're out there like trying to fucking like make money and stuff like that. For firstborn daughters, you're in charge of everything. Emotional responsibility, financial responsibility, like everything. Like the whole family relies on you for so much. And so that's something that I realize is really difficult for like firstborn daughters. But yeah, emotional responsibility. Like if there's any like fights or like toxic things that happen in the family, it's like I think that's why I'm so emotionally smart too. It's because like I just saw everything. I don't know, man. Whatever. I don't know if you guys will understand, you know, because a lot of you guys are, you know, men. And it's okay. You guys don't have to understand. Writing around, thanks for gifting us up to Piano. But yeah. I went to therapy for 3 to 4 years. I actually stopped because I actually feel like I got exactly what I needed from therapy, and now I just therapy myself. But holy shit, it was like the best decision of my life for someone who came from like a lot of generational trauma and then internet trauma. I had a lot of fucking baggage and trauma and pain and just like so much to fucking work through. And I started therapy when I was 21, and I remember like I really made a consistent effort to go to it because your prefrontal cortex develops at like 26, and I remember thinking I really want to fucking heal from my baggage. Like I just want to set a good foundation for myself. So then I did therapy for like 3-4 years, and like that was like the best decision ever for me. But it took me like 4 therapists to find a good therapist, and there's a lot of like bad therapy out there. So it's kind of, mental health is just like physical health too. Like if you feel like your doctor's not good, it's like yeah, therapy was necessary for me. Yeah, bad therapists exist. I mean, it's like doctors, right? There's bad doctors that exist. I think a trait I really had was I was really proactive. So even though I had moments where I was like, am I fucked for life? I still like tried really hard. Yeah. But that's what a therapist will help you with, like remembering things. And I remember I would start writing things down, especially because if you get to a point where you're suppressing things so successfully that you're forgetting about them, I would try writing it down. And I remember I would still attend therapy even when I didn't know what was wrong, just to practice my mind getting into a vulnerable state and to practice like opening up. That was really important. No, I'm not gonna finish, I'm full. How can you tell between good and bad therapists? Okay, so there's some like telltale signs for me. I personally, I don't really like therapists that put their own judgment on things. I feel like that's a red flag. Like if a therapist tells me that something's flat out wrong, I really liked my therapist. At first, I was so frustrated. I was like, can you just fucking tell me the answer? I was like, can you just tell me what to do? But then I realized like she was a really good therapist because she would never tell me what to do. And like she would always just try to like guide my mind. Because at the end of the day, it's like, most people, like we're not meant to listen. I mean, we can listen to other people, but like decisions feel the best when they're made by us. Right? That's why even when like if my friend's like seeing a guy I don't agree with, right? Or like if my friend's like going through a phase of life that I don't want her to be going through, sometimes I'm just like, it is what it is. Like people go through their own phases and people have to learn on their own, right? And so I just try, I like let go of a lot. And life is like sometimes not that serious. Like I'm just like, you know what? What's the worst that could happen? And yeah. Yeah, like if you can feel like they have their own judgment on things, that's kind of an indicator of like maybe not the best therapist. A good therapist should leave you thinking about more. It should expand your mind. I think a lot of people search for therapy to feel validated, and I think in the beginning the therapist might work on validating someone to make them feel like they have a safe space. But essentially, I always recommend, like, you're fucking paying for therapy. It's expensive. You have to tell yourself, like, am I truly growing from this? Like, is it something that just makes me feel good? Or am I really growing and learning from this? I think I would reassess that a lot. And I think, like, the first, like, 3 therapists, I was like, you're just, when it wasn't it, I just had a feeling. I was just like, I don't know if that session was good. I'm like, typically, you shouldn't really leave a therapy session thinking that you're, like, super broken. I remember I thought that a lot. Like, the first 3, I felt like I was unfixable. I remember one time, like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if you guys know Ollie. He, like, drove me to therapy, like, my first therapist. And, like, afterwards, I just sat in his car and I was crying. And I was telling him, I was like, I don't know if I'll ever get better. And he was like, you just have to keep going, like, you just have to try. And I was like, I don't think so. I think I'm impossible. It's impossible. I don't think I can get better. Like, I think I'm just meant to, like, I think I'm just fucked. So there's moments where I'm like, holy fuck, like, I don't know if I'll get better. And then eventually I, like, found a therapist that, like, helped me a lot. Yeah, they were all female therapists. I think, like, after the 4th one, if it didn't work, I was gonna find a guy, but my 4th one worked. So yeah, that was nice. Yeah. Yeah, it was scary. Like, I would cry a lot of therapy sessions. And the thing is, it's like, I'm kind of a masochist for, like, self-improvement, and it's like, if I like if I went, like, 20 minutes into a therapy session and it wasn't, like, I was like, damn, I'm not learning a lot from this, I would just take out a trauma. I'd be like, okay, let's talk about it. Like, I would just fucking go through it. Like, I was like, because I'm paying for it, I'm like, damn, every single minute it's like fucking, like, at least $1. I'm like, yo, whatever, like, when I was in 7th grade, this happened, let's fucking talk about it. So I was, like, optimizing my therapy. I made sure I had something to talk about and something to explore. So yeah. But also, I really didn't want to, like, just go into a therapy session and, like, be validated, right? Like, I think it did help that a lot of my demons were very, like, internal. Like, I never really blamed people for things. I just blamed myself. So I guess that did help because, like, it was much easier for my therapist to, yeah. Yep. It turned out pretty good. Thanks. I think we all turned out good. I know, I just talk about life in general. Aww. No, I have a lot of shortcomings too. I can't drive. I'm kind of, like, hot-tempered these days. I'm pretty impatient. I'm bossy. I forget things a lot. I'm very forgetful. Andrew, thank you for the 108 months. Thank you. I am a brat. But I'm a brat because, like, I accept brat behavior. Like, when I see another girl being a brat, I'm like, yes. Honestly, I even like it when guys are, like, I just think everyone should get in touch with their brat. Like, I feel like humans would just be happier if we were all honest about our needs. That's all. Like, why are we catering so much to each other? And, like, humans, like, underestimate how good it feels to, like, make other people happy, you know? Like, that's what a lot of people want to do. I love knowing what people's needs are, and like I love communicating what mine are. So yeah, and like yeah, a brat, like the mischievous side is like very curious, very playful. Yeah. Finish your plate. Don't tell me what to do. Okay, yeah, not everyone needs to be a brat. I would probably be less of a brat if everyone was a brat. Thank you. A brat, not a life, not cutesy, not doing it. Okay. I'm sleepy, guys. I want to go to sleep. It's 2 a.m. I also woke up at 7. Good night, guys. It's too late. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. Do I have any friends streaming? Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next Sunday. I love you guys. I'm so sleepy right now. I can't even like properly send you guys off. Thank you for watching. Oh my god, my pimple is so obvious here. I'm gonna raid Joey. Say hi, Joey, or like be active in the chat. Good night, guys. I will see you guys Sunday. And yeah, thanks for watching. I love you guys. My mental's so good after I stream, and I appreciate you guys so much. Drink lots of water. I'm so tired. Holy shit, I can't believe I streamed like 6 hours and like my period's about to start. You guys are so fucking lucky. Okay. Bye, everyone. I love you. Good night. Drink lots of water. Good night, Andrew. Good night, Conflicted. Good night, Sharky. Good night, Ant. Good night, Ken. Good night, Elasticy. Good night, Wayson. Good night, yourself. Bye, guys. I love you guys. Bye. You just got here? Wait, I like your name, Choopaloop. Okay, good night, everyone. Bye. Good night.